Graph y is less than negative 2x squared. In order to graph this, we need to have a good idea of what negative 2x squared looks like. So let's, pick a couple x values, get a couple y values, and see what happens. Now, since there's no adding or subtracting or anything like that, and it's just x squared, I know my vertex is going to be smack dab right there at the origin. I'm not adding, I'm not subtracting, smack dab at the origin. So why don't I pick 0? Whatever 1 is, negative 1 is going to behave the same way. Whatever 2 is, negative 2 is going to behave the same way. And whatever 3 is, negative 3 is going to behave the same way. All right, when I plug in 0, I get negative 2 times 0, which is 0. Easy peasy, I knew that would happen. When I plug in 1, and again, since this is a parabola, and the left side and the right side are going to behave the same way, whatever I get for 1, negative 1 is going to be the same. So negative 2 times 1 squared is going to be negative 2 times 1, which is negative 2. So 1 is negative 2, negative 1 is negative 2. Let's do the same thing for 2. Negative 2 times 2 squared is the same as negative 2 times 4, which is the same as negative 8. Now we should know now that if you are negative 8, you are negative 8. I am not going to bother plugging in 3 because it's not going to work. Number's too big, so I'm not going to bother. All right, not going to bother. Now that is what the graph is going to be shaped like. This is an inequality, which means I have to remember two specific things. Thing number one, and it's all based on the fact that that's a less than symbol. Thing number one that I have to remember is since that's a less than and not less than or equal to, I'm going to draw out a dashed line. So my parabola is going to be this dashed curve like this. I'm doing the best I can, doing the best I can, doing the best I can. Okay? That's one thing that I have to remember. Thing two that I have to remember is since this is less than, it's going to be shaded underneath, which is going to look like this. This is what under the graph looks like, and it appears like it's inside. But this is a shaded region. What this means is everything in this yellow region, so 0, negative 5, 1, negative 8, anything in this shaded region is a possible solution to this inequality. Now, does the graph or does the dashed line count? No. So I'm not allowed to be like, well, let's plug in 1, negative 2 and see if that works. It won't. But if I plug in 1, negative 4, it'll work just fine because it falls in the shaded region. So that's what an inequality of a parabola looks like and what it means.